Are you a big game hunter? Taking over the broadcast is Jake Bushaney, and by his side is Ryan Avery. Viewers are calling the Shoot to Hunt podcast the next hot tamale. Mind you, this show does not permit young ears. You'll be wanting a bar of soap in your mouth by the end of the show. Enjoy the broadcast and keep those little ears covered.
I wanted to first say happy birthday to Lane. It's his birthday today.
Hey.
25 years old. It's what they call it, your golden birthday, when it's the month or the year. No, the day you were born, the month of the day. It's the 25th of March, and he's 25.
Oh, got it.
I said that ass backwards, but golden birthday or whatever they call it.
And it's the year 25.
Yeah.
So is that like a triple whammy?
Yeah.
So
happy birthday, buddy. Podcast. We're doing the podcast the day the podcast is supposed to come out. So podcasts are fucking hard. And I was just thinking when I was driving here this morning, I have some guests that I want to get on that we need to start scheduling. But if you have any podcast topics that you want me or Jake to go over, podcast@shoothunt.com. Send them to us.
I do still want to start the doing the prepping for beginners shit. I think that'll be a cool little series.
Oh, like preppers?
Prepping for beginners.
Because you watched that movie miniseries, what's it called?
Oh, fuck.
Homestead. Yeah.
That's not what started. I've always kind of been into it. We've always had shit at the house or whatever, but that kind of like reignited it a little bit. And, we ordered some more shit. We're starting to get more organized, but it's basic shit. So I think that people can be intimidated thinking they got to buy a bunker, but there's a lot of stuff you can do just at your house.
You're going against rule number 1 of prepping.
I know.
Don't talk about prepping.
I know. But at the same point, so everybody already knows where I live because that's where the business started and it's all over the fucking internet.
Not everybody, but
let's just say that it's internet knowledge, right? And once it's internet knowledge, it's there, never going anywhere.
Yeah.
So people also know where I work. So there's not a lot, and they also see me on YouTube and they hear me on this bullshit. So, it's a very, very small. And then I have this huge red beard, which is, I think, kind of, it makes you a big standout for whatever reason, whether you like it or not.
You're hard to hide.
I can't hide.
No.
Yeah. It's like, I tell the wife, I can't cheat.
No, you're not.
They're going to,
You're very recognizable and your voice is very recognizable.
So anyways, prepping for beginners. I thought that was cool just because it was something we were getting into and that would be a topic.
Absolutely. We need to get back into more, ballistic and bullet talk.
Definitely.
Because I think that's probably the number 1.
Well, as we're coming back into hunting season, it's been good discussion.
Yes. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. We were supposed to do the podcast yesterday, and something came up on Hunting Ethos website that Unknown Munitions hates loophole. And I want it from my side and this comes from the rock slide drop test.
Well, let me explain a little bit more because you said honey. It's Field Ethos Journal.
Honey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good group of guys.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that, they're a specific type of group of guy. I would consider them, a group of somewhat well-off individuals that love to go hunt and be a little bit bougie at the same time. Kind of how I look at it. They got a badass magazine and
yes.
Yeah. So those guys, a customer, they were doing a Q&A session. I think he's been doing those Q&As every Sunday for as long as I can remember. He's very dedicated to that. That's a hard thing to keep up on.
Oh, that's a pain in the end.
Yeah. So he, I guess a customer or somebody that knows of us messaged in and asked why unknown, and he said unknown munitions. He didn't say shoot to hunt. He didn't say rock slide. He didn't say Ryan or form. He said unknown munitions. And I've never, I guess when I say I mean unknown munitions, have never said we hate loophole. That's never really been said. But that was the question to them is why does unknown munitions hate loophole?
Yeah. And this to the bigger of the 3 companies involved with us 2, none of us hate loophole. None of us. We simply have a drop test on rock slide that loophole don't pass. But that does have I don't hate anything, buddy. I don't hate anybody at loophole and I don't hate their products. We simply have a test that they don't pass and that's pretty much it. So there's no hatred. Like I don't get that part. I know you would sell Leupold. If a customer asks, you're going to sell it to them. If they want to bring one in, or they want you to order one, you're going to buy and put it on their rifle.
Definitely.
So it's not a thing. And people bring it onto Vortex too. I don't hate Vortex. I actually like the people at Vortex. So it's not a hate thing. It's just a simple test. We test it. The customer decides. Is what we're saying relevant or not? It's up to you guys. There's no hatred involved.
Yeah.
So just wanted to put that out there.
And there's a lot of manufacturers that have failed the drop test. And like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean that we hate all the ones that didn't pass the drop test. Now, like you mentioned customers. Now, if a customer says, I want this Mark V HD on my new rifle, by all means, we'll put any scope on any rifle that a customer requests. But if the customer happens to say, what are your recommendations? Or the more common question is, what would you put on your rifle?
Correct.
Then we're just honest about it at that point. When I first met you, you fucking took my Leupold and said, oh, can I borrow that? And you remember that? You didn't tell me what you were going to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, you were fucking drop testing it and broke the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what happened. I think that's still a shop scope.
Yeah, I think you sent it in, got it fixed, and they sent it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fucking right. Can I borrow your scope?
I've done that to so many people.
So I guess the point is I owned a Leupold before I met you.
I'll put this out there. We talked about this yesterday. If the Mark V passed the rock slide drop test, that is the only scope I would use. It has so many badass features, bells and whistles. It is a great scope outside of one test that we do.
Yeah. So I had the guys, the reps came in here. What fucking day is it today? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
So late last week, Steiner guys came in and they wanted to volunteer. Let me look up the scope model, but they're going to send us a Steiner scope specifically for the drop test. And that's why they came in. They knew all about the drop test. Obviously, he was a big Rockside follower.
That's funny.
But he was the Brownells rep for a while, and then he converted over to these other guys. Now I got to find this freaking... I sent a text to Ryan, which I should have known that he doesn't read anyway.
Oh, I was hunting.
H6XI. It's a 3 to 18 by 50. It is I want to say it's a sexy looking scope. It looks very familiar. It looks very much like an RS 1.2, in my opinion.
Yep, and the turrets look very similar to what we're putting on our scope.
Yeah, they're very low pro, very sexy turrets, and it's a $2,300 MSRP. Wholesale margins are great, all that good shit.
What's the zoom range?
It is a 3 to 18 by 50.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know I thought we had tested one, and I'm pretty sure Forum had told me they had one that in his side that didn't pass, but hey, there's always one that could. Like, look at the Maven. The Maven 1.2 is the only one that has passed the test, and they're all worth testing.
Yeah. But I mean, they seemed excited about it. It's like they wanted to, and the way he was explaining it is they actually make a lot of their own parts for those scopes here in the States, which I think is unusual compared to the other scope manufacturers that are around. So I told them maybe they have a unique opportunity, once they see the results of the test to make improvements on their side. And we are aware already now with our current project that Light Optical Works is aware of the drop test and they know exactly what to do to make a scope pass. This is what was told to us by the middleman. So yeah, so they know what to do.
Absolutely.
They can do it. It's all, the way I tried to explain it was there's a balance between weight, cost, and durability.
Yes.
And you have to work those three pillars up and down to get the price point that you want and make sacrifices in other places. But apparently Light Optical Works is which if you don't know what that is, that's basically the big factory in Japan that makes all the scopes for the big boys.
They make pretty much 80 to 85% of the scopes in the world. Or optics, period, in the world. So
when the middleman that we're working with contacted Lowe and said, this is what we want, they were aware already. They said, we know what to do.
Very familiar with the rock slide drop test.
Yes.
Which is, I appreciate.
Yeah.
It means we're doing good work.
Well, it's going around.
Yeah. And this goes back to what I said about not hating. It's just a variable. We're testing for variables. And at the end of the day, we work hard to get this one shot on public land. Every variable that we can control, we should control. Yep. We should control before that moment of truth. And like I said, we report, you decide at the end of the day.
If you find yourself every hunting season or multiple times a year going out to the range just to make sure the bullet is hitting the same spot and then having to make adjustments year after year after year, or maybe chasing zero around the paper, these are the problems that we try to avoid. It has nothing. It's not manufacturer specific. It's not anything like that. It's just we want the scope where you don't have to chase it around the paper.
Yep. I just came back from Nilgai hunting down in Texas. It went down on a plane. Planes are brutal on rifles.
Hmm.
I got to the place and shot at they have like a Nilgai steel target with a heart shot flapper, and it was money. Straight money. So this drop test works.
Anyway, so I guess we just wanted to bring that out because our name got mentioned on somebody else's stories, and Field Ethos has a pretty big following, and just wanted to clarify that if they're whatever the manufacturer is, because I didn't know shit about Maven before you brought up the RS-12. We put a ton of those on builds now, but it could have been anybody's name. It could have been the Leupold Mark V new one that just came out, and that happened to be the one that passed the drop test, and that's the one that we're putting on rifles. It doesn't really matter, who's making it. It could be any of the off brands.
Yeah, hate's a strong word.
Yeah,
we don't hate anybody.
Anyways, if you happen to have a Leupold from 1980 that doesn't lose zero, or even a new one that doesn't lose zero, that's fucking awesome. Hold on to it.
All right. Enough said there. We have shooting school. We have a few cancellations in this year's shooting school in June. So if you want to attend the 0 to 600 shoot to hunt shooting course, there's 4 or 5 openings, and I think it's over 2 different weeks.
I think it was week 2 and week 3.
Yep. And I think we will fill them. So if you are waiting, or if you already have a slot for 2026 and you want to move to 2025.
Yep.
No problem. Get a hold of us.
I think the 2026 ones are filling up pretty quick, too. I think we only dropped 2 weeks for that. We kind of add weeks as we go for those 0 to 6 classes. Those are in, that's on the big ranch in Montana. 5 days of nonstop shooting, about 1,000 rounds of suppressed 223. We have class rifles, all that good shit for you. We do have a reloading class in June of this year. You can find out how to sign up for that on shoottohunt.com and go to classes. We also have a Africa hunt / shooting class that we need to get a few more signups for. So if you guys jump on the website, check that one out. It's going to be, what do we figure it was? It was 4 and 4, right? 4 days of shooting class with Form and his partners, and 4 days of hunting. I believe it includes a large animal and a small animal. It includes all your food and drink and your lodging, and of course your guides and all that good stuff with Red Sand Safaris.
Yes, it's a great deal.
Neil is Neil and his team, pretty badass dudes. A lot of fun to hang out with, and you will kill some stuff.
Their whole family's fantastic.
I can't wait to go back anyway.
Yeah.
We'll have to, actually, we should probably plan for maybe a year after next. We just plan another trip.
2026.
27.
2027, yeah. No, it'd be 26.
Year after next.
Well, this year is 25, so it's plan something in 26.
We could do that.
So if you look at 2 animals, it's a good deal. If you want to shoot more, that is an option too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd have to pay more and you have to work that out with Neil, but it's a family affair. It's a small business. It's not a big ass corporation of factory African hunting. It's, you feel like you're part of the team, and you feel, and the food is fantastic.
They keep you fed.
Ooh,
you did get to eat the animals that you're shooting. We killed a lot of animals during that. There must have been 20 animals. Maybe. And so the Skinners just had like a full-time job while we were there. They'd get them on the radio.
Douglas.
Another animal. We are still in the middle of some collaborations right now. You guys are aware of the MRC Marshall rifle. We are taking deposits on those. Are we allowed to talk about
not the brand name yet.
The pack?
No, the pack, yeah.
All the way through, or just?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we partnered up with Exo Mountain Gear on a new backpack, and I don't think we've settled on the name yet. There's been some weird names being thrown around.
It's getting deep on the names.
Yeah.
I was talking to Forum the other day, but basically it's not, it'll go on the K4 frame, but it's a bag we're coming out with.
Yes. Shoot to Hunt bag for the K4. We are going to sell those through the Shoot to Hunt site. They're going to be filled by Exo. We're also going to have some here in the retail store at Unknown Munitions and frames for you to try on. But it will be a badass bag.
We're thinking July 1st they'll be for sale.
Yep.
Everything goes as planned, which it should.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's coming very soon. And then, of course, we've been talking about a scope. We don't have a lot of information to give on that. We should be having some prototypes, hopefully pretty soon. They're not still waiting on him for reticle stuff, no?
Mm-mm.
All right.
He has all the reticle information. I thought we would have them by May. So I maybe misheard that. But I think May.
So basically the order's put in with Lowe, and we're waiting on the first basically group of prototypes to start testing. And I don't think we're talking about specs or nothing yet.
I think we kind of it's up on Rockslide. So just the company's not publicly known, but it's 3 to 14 by 44.
Okay.
Yep.
3 to 1444. We're shooting for a $9.99 retail price point.
Yes.
And it will pass the drop test.
Yes.
We will also be performing a durability test on site.
Yes.
Once it reaches unknown for distribution. We won't get into the details of that, but it'll be similar to another manufacturer. Ryan tells me he's all over that shit. Like,
actually, I had a conversation with the guy just before I left to go hunting.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's going to have a simplified THLR reticle, which is pretty fucking sweet if you understand what a lot of people don't understand. And they look at it and it's really busy. If you look at the one that's out on the market now, it's just pretty much going to have the middle line of subtensions, not the top, not the bottom, and not the range finding deal on it.
Okay.
Simplified THLR reticle.
So just wind holds, basically. Wind
holds.
Yes.
And so there will be subtensions in the drop, but they're not going to be as gaudy as they are in the one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hell of a reticle that you can see through the whole zoom range.
So
it'll be
pretty exciting.
Low profile turrets. That's exciting.
Yes. We're also still working on suppressors. Our printer should be up and running next week when the tech arrives. There's been some delays there, but we're still printing revisions of our first over-the-barrel suppressor, I believe. We hope to have 12 more revisions showing up today, actually, or very, very soon. So that would be up to 20 revisions so far just on that first can, kind of fine-tuning the tone and the back pressure and all that good shit.
Something I noticed carrying it around, I just went down to Texas, like I said, Nilgai and pig hunting, and I shot a couple pigs with 6 Creed. Carrying they're both 20-inch barrels. One had the AB can on it, which is a 6.5-inch can, 10 ounces. There's a notable difference in balance when you're carrying them around with the over-the-barrel suppressor that we're coming out with, and the 6 inches hanging off the front. And I wanted, like, I asked Tanya and I asked Lane, we all carried the rifles, we took 2. And I said, do you notice like that balance point and how much easier it is? And people think that I'm full of shit, but once you start carrying it around every day, he said, it's just such a better balance with that over the barrel can, which you wouldn't notice unless you had one. One more plus balance. Yes.
We're hoping still for June for retail. Like I said, everything seems to be on track right now. In fact, retail packaging is showing up next week.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you know which part Jake's in charge of.
That's the shit that's on time.
We had fucking Rockstock boxes months before we had Rockstocks.
Got to be done.
It's fucking funny.
Kimmy, what if you had 1,000 suppressors sitting here and you got nothing to put them in?
It's just fucking funny.
Yeah. Well, the packaging's badass, dude. That was like a project, right? Like we ordered in samples, we did some destructive testing and come up with different designs and whatnot. So I'm excited about that. Of course, it's a reusable. It's like a craft paper tube, right? But the print is cool and you can keep it and store your suppressor in there.
Jake gets excited about the packaging, almost as excited as the actual product in the package.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the coolest packaging we've made so far.
Rockstock's pretty cool.
The Rockstock is good too. Yeah. Well, that's enough what we would call self-pumping.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, do we have no speak pipes or nothing on there? I mean, if people don't know how to use the button no more?
Actually, we had some speak pipes I just saw the other day, but there's a bunch in here, but I don't know if we've ever done them before, if they cleaned them out.
Oh.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll have to clean that out first. We'll get Luke to take care of that.
Yeah. I'll have to give the 6UM update, the noodle barrel 6UM. This is the skinniest barrel that Ace makes. I took down Nilgai hunting, and down there I went LL Hunts. Fantastic place if you need to hunt or want to hunt Nilgai, which everybody should. It's hard to get in. You almost got to get a cancellation, but LL Hunts, it's in about as far south in Texas as you can go before you're in Mexico. They got a bunch of Nilgai, and they've got free range Nilgai. It borders the King Ranch, I believe the biggest ranch in Texas. And they're free range. They can go back and forth, low fence on that side. And they want a 30 caliber gun with a 200 grain bullet doing 3,000 feet per second. That's what they want. And he hunts everything. The owner hunts everything with a 375 rum. Mm-hmm. So he's always like the second time I've been down there, he's a little hesitant on the 6UM. But we went 3 for 3 with 1-shot kills. The average distance traveled was 50 yards. And it's funny too, because they start witness it and they're like, what's that about? What's this bullet about? Because he said most of the time the animal goes between 100 and 200 yards with what they're shot, when they're shot with whatever size gun. But he was impressed about how we put which comes to the recoil side, it has light recoil. We put the money on the, we put the bullet on the mark. All of them were shot through the lungs. Tanya's was shot through the heart and lungs. My shot was the farthest, I think like 210. Most, I think Lane's and Tanya's shot was 100 and 150. But 50 yards average. The bullet exited on the bull, which he says you don't see very often. It's just one more data point that the 6UM is truly God's cartridge, and everybody should own one.
And the Nilgai are tough motherfuckers.
Yeah, so they bite. You look at them, they look like the devil. So they get on their knees and they stab each other in the side of the chest and the neck. Oh. So they're really beefed up. If you see a picture of Tanya's online, you can see the scars on the side of it. And they literally, he says, you find them dead from just scarring each other. So, over time, they've grown super thick. They're like twice as thick through the rib cage as an elk. Another thing he told me is you don't see a lot of reaction. Like when you hit them, well, Tanya hit that bull and it damn near flipped over straight backwards. So it's pretty cool that, we designed this bullet and it's doing as well as it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of builds are coming through. I was just talking to Alex and he said there's like 40 builds for 6UM.
Way too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get some bear data pretty soon.
It's the only thing we haven't shot that I know of. I do not know of a bear that's been shot with a 6UM in that 115 DTAC. And Forum says that it's not great on thin-skinned animals. It did well on the 2 axis deer I shot. I'd like to see it on a bear. And now, old fucking Mason, he'll have a 6UM. He's a convert.
Yes. We should get plenty of data between you two.
Yes. I'm excited about that.
Well, I don't know. You don't really kill too many animals in your day, so we'll see if you happen to find a bear you like.
Yeah.
Mason will shoot some shit.
Mason will fuck up a bear.
Yeah.
I would like to see a wolf or a coyote and see how it does.
That would be awesome.
Also thin-skinned.
Yeah.
That brings me to another question that you can kind of go into because you talked to him. Why did we not get as much 6UM brass as we thought we would get?
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
So they had, well, first of all, just so you guys know, I was made aware of some other distributors that had 6UM brass on their website. All of the brass came to us, with the exception of a small amount that ADG retained for themselves. We will be having another run pretty soon so that they can make up the rest of our order. But they lost a lot of brass to what they call micro folds in the neck.
Damn it.
So they had to order some new tooling. But again, that was the first real production run. So these things are going to come up in the first production run and you fix the problem and then you don't have the problem again. But on their side, I think they ate a lot of seconds on that. Or not seconds, but what do you call it? Waste.
Yeah, a lot of scrap.
Yeah, a lot of scrap
You
material.
don't get a lot. I mean, you lose. You can recycle it and get money, but it's fucking not what you
Yeah.
pay
So
for
we got
shit.
about half of our order. But we were able to fill every single order that had already come in, as well as enough for the builds that we have on deck. So we're doing good right now. But you might get on the website there and you're not going to find anything because it's been sold.
We had a few gunsmiths that weren't too happy.
Yeah. Luckily, we do have some 6.5 SAWs still that can be neck down and it just doesn't have the head stamp on it. But I don't know when ADG will get to the other part of the order, but they did say 8 to 10 weeks for that tooling.
Really?
Yes.
Do they have an update on when they'll have a 6UM die with their new dies?
Well, I know that they have the reamers for the 40 and the 30 now. No, I'm sorry. They have the reamer for the 40, but not the 30. The 30, we have chamber reamers for the 30 right now, but the resizing reamer is different than that because it has to squeeze it down a little bit.
Gotcha.
So they don't have the 30 yet, but they do have the 40. Yes. And Widden is still making dies for us. They have all the reamers too. And there might be another company out there because Colton Magnoli told me that Papwinkle told me that he was going to have somebody else make dies for him. Might just be a one-off by a custom guy, but he also told me that the fucking 6UM 40 chamber reamer drawing is up on Rockside. That's where he found it.
It is? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's private from JGS, but I guess, they have the reamer spec. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I guess somebody could grab the bullet. I'll take it down I'll go find it. It must have been from me early on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably before it was called a 40 and a 30.
Yeah, and is it the right one?
That's another good question.
There's 2 generations of that reamer.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Imagine it is not. So it's out there. And there's a few companies, like I said, Precision, Arms and Patriot Valley.
Yeah.
Putting out 6UMs.
Yeah.
Another question I had on the Nilgai is neither one of those, all 3 of them, none of them, in my opinion, tumbled because it was too close. That thing's doing 3,330 feet per second, and everything was under basically 210 yards. So acting more like a match bullet. It shredded the lungs, hit the other side. All of it's up in that 6UM thread on Rockslide. So it's just impressive that a 6mm, which every PH and guide poo-poos until they see it work. And then they ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
Well, we'll see what it does on bears.
Yep. Speaking of bears, kind of the focal point of our podcast is it's almost bear season.
It is.
Cabin fevers. I heard a bunch of birds chirping this morning. The sun's out. I got shorts on. I got my fucking Crocs. I got my Stitch Crocs on today.
There you go.
If you're watching the video, look at those pimp fucking sons of bitches. Anyways,
I know you like to say those toughen your feet up, so this is the start of that.
Oh, dude, there's no doubt. I wore them. I went on a cruise like about a month ago now. Feels like, dude, I wore them for one day. My feet were like little bitches.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got all red and swollen, and maybe it's because I'm husky.
I was going to say, maybe that was all the drinking.
Dude, you can drink. We had unlimited package. So they said there was a limit, but I went fucking hard the first 2 days. I had to back down because I was at like 2 days. I was like 30 something drinks in.
You were trying to find the limit?
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
Oh, dude, I was fucking going hard. And I woke up that 3rd day and I was like, I got to fucking moderate and pace myself. I may go overboard on the cruise.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So, yeah.
We're talking about like hard alcohol drinks too.
Yeah. Like I drink beer, but dude, I love Pendleton and Crown. And I went pretty fucking hard on doubles. I tried to get a triple. It's kind of like your quad mocha.
Sorry, sir. We don't do that.
Can you just pour it like half full and just give it to me? Yeah. But, yeah, they give you doubles, and I had a lot of doubles. Anyways, and I wore the Crocs, and man, it almost like blistered my foot a little bit because I haven't worn them since last fall. Yeah, it worked, dude. I'm telling you, if you wear Crocs all summer, your feet will be fucking tough enough to hike in.
Yeah, that's one thing that baiting bears will humble you pretty quick because you don't do a lot of exercise before bear season, really. Then you get out there, and it's like this little half mile, little downhill thing. But then you put 2 5-gallon buckets full of trail mix in your hands. And then, you got bitch ass feet still and you ain't been, hiking very much. And it shows you how out of shape you are pretty quick.
There's a lot of heavy breathing coming up that little trail.
There is.
People are under this impression that, don't forget, we got to get into the bear test. People are under the impression that baiting is this simple thing. You throw down a little fucking bait and you walk away and then you shoot a bear. It's complete bullshit.
It can happen that way if you're lucky. It can.
Rarely.
Very rarely.
But I mean, okay, so you started bear hunting 3 or 4 years ago, right? Bear baiting.
Yeah, I think this will be 5th year.
So now you've done it and you go back when you started. What did you think then and what do you think now?
Well, I remember, so the first year it was you messaging saying, hey, I got a bear for Mason, and we show up, we shoot the bear, and then we go home the next day. That was the easy part. But then next year we had to participate.
Yes.
So it's like, it could be weeks of baiting a site before either the bears start coming out during the day, or you get the right size bear that you're looking for on your bait. But dude, the birds eat the fucking bait. It's not you can put a lot of work in with a barrel and things like that, but it isn't every morning. Like if you're up there baiting 4 or 5 sites, every morning you're out carrying buckets around. It's not easy work. It's expensive.
And it's dirty. I mean, you're getting shit all over you. You're getting shit all over your truck or 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
It's not simple.
Like you're trying to use shit that smells really pungent one way or another, whether it's sweet or savory or anything else. So you get this shit on you. We have like this magic juice. You get a little bit of the magic juice on you, man. You smell that shit for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
on your skin.
When we go back up there this year in a few weeks, we'll still smell that shit from fucking last year.
Yes.
It's fucking potent.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's yeah, and then you could go sit, you could have a bear that's on the fucking camera every single night at 4 p.m. And then you'll go sit that night and he's not fucking there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much a hit and miss. We kill a lot of bears, but it's not a huge amount.
No, and it rains a lot. The weather's fucking,
Yeah.
One of the funnest things in the world to do is just sit in the fucking rain.
Yeah. And then the rain's fucking all your bait and your smells up that you were trying to get going. And
yeah.
We're gonna do some more burn piles this year, I think.
Some more bear crack where you burn it up.
Yeah.
Get the smell in the air. I'm excited because it's, I don't know, get you back out in the woods. Everything's new and, new spring green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like a bear.
Dude.
Like you're coming out of your winter fur.
Where I have that bait that we've baited forever.
Yeah.
Walking up that little fucking hill, you're like, holy fuck. I'm a fat piece of shit.
It's a steep motherfucker. And the funny part, so I don't know if you remember, but when we killed that bear, I threw that bear over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I had never been up that hill before. I only walked down it, right? And I threw it over. And by the time I got to the top, I swear I was going to die.
I don't know what it is about that little, it's not long ways. It's like a motherfucker hill. Everybody's breathing hard. Even the people that claim to be in shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting this year. The outfitter we used to work with, we didn't necessarily work with the outfitter. We just camped with him. He sold out, so there'll be a new guy, and how we get along with the new guy will be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some baits that we've used for a long time, and I'm sure he'll maybe want to use them, but if we beat him to the bait site, it doesn't really fucking matter if our tag's there.
Mm-hmm.
And if he comes in and slaps his tag on, it could be some very interesting conversations.
Yes.
I to me, like, public land hunting, man, is kind of like the wild, wild west with bear baits in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize that whoever marks the bait site for it, doesn't matter whose bait site it is. You could be baiting it for 25 years. Somebody gets there first and marks it.
Yeah.
That's why they're so private about, a lot of guys are real private about their bait sites.
Yeah. It's like any kind of hunting. An outfitter doesn't own a bait site on public land.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting.
And all of those bait sites been up for so long. If you're walking around the woods or you see, a trail or whatever, and you look, you can see.
You can smell.
You can tell it was a bait site. Yeah.
Birds. I mean, there's lots of ways to figure it out.
Yeah.
And there's lots of baits around there to go around. So
there is.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Are you obviously you know what round I'm going to use bear hunting.
Yeah.
What cartridge are you going to use bear hunting?
I'll bring the 657. I like
Is that the 657 PRC?
Yeah. Improved plus P.
The one you took to Africa.
Yeah. 147 at 3150.
You'll easily do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's it has the original FDE scope that we used the drop test for the Premier rings.
Mm-hmm.
It went to Africa and back, never lost zero. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of, it's an easy button, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yes. The great bullet. We're going to test the backpack. The Exo backpack, we're going to test it during bear season.
Yeah.
There'll be quite a few testers besides us to get all the feedback. Maybe we missed something.
I think there'll at least be one in the store here. You guys can fondle. I think he's going to give us enough. We can put one in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that'll be over the next, we should have them by the end of April. Like, the testers.
Yeah.
Besides that, I'm going to try to do a little bit of, I always do like a spot and stock. I want to go drive around and walk some trails and walk some roads and try to find some bears that aren't on baits, because that's also fun.
Yep.
Yeah. And, if you're an up and coming bear hunter and you don't want to use bait, or you don't have the time, or you're traveling, and in my opinion, the earlier the better. If you can go right at the end of April, first 2 weeks in May, get those young shoots, southern facing slopes. If you're looking for bears, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Out just sitting on a rock, huh?
Yep. Just sitting on a rock. I think if you can, and you just got to travel, you got to walk a lot. If you're coming to like a densely, like North Idaho is a little different because there's not huge openings and there's not a lot of brushy.
Mm-hmm.
Just walk those fucking logging roads, those closed logging roads.
Yeah. And if you have never baited before and you're not against it, that's something cool to get started too. You just got to find you a spot. And like we started baiting, it's probably been baited before, but we started baiting a spot up there a couple years back. And it was I think it was the second night and the fourth night bears were killed on that brand new spot we just started baiting.
It's interesting on bears is over like put out a lot of bear baits in my life. It takes about 7 days. on average for a bear to find it and hit it. If it's a brand new bait. But Shane and Eric have a bear bait. Dude, it was
that is the weirdest spot too.
It is, and you wouldn't think, and probably the second biggest bear that I know of, which Jerry Shaw, it was actually, they baited it in, Shane and Eric, and they had to leave, and then Jerry went up and shot the bear, big fucking bear.
Yeah.
Was shot off that bait site, but they've shot, I think, like 5 or 6 bears off that bait. Anyways, 24 hours. They put the bait in at night. They went back the next morning. That night it got hit. The first time it'd ever been there.
Yep.
So people say, oh, you need a lot of time. Well, sometimes if it's a good spot, and think about this, you need a spot that the wind blows all over the place.
Yes.
But what I like to put them in is like kind of right next to a fairly good sized drainage.
Yep.
So it goes down and up that drainage. So when the bear comes across that drainage, it hits the wind source.
Yep.
If it's in like a bowl or like I call it a dead end canyon, you got to just think, how can I maximize the wind off this bait?
Yeah, if you're like in a big horseshoe canyon, you're trying to put your bait right in the middle of that. Well, all you have is that canyon.
Yes. Yep. So I try to put it by multiple canyons in a place that's going to get pretty windy, which is pretty much everywhere in the mountains.
Yeah.
But think about that, because wind is like water. How far is this wind going to go off this bait?
Yeah.
And right there, obviously, it fucking goes all over because there's bears on that sucker usually within 48 hours when they put it out. Yeah. So some bear bait spots are better than others, as you learned with Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he had you move your bait to another spot. It got hit pretty fast.
Yeah. I think there's work that you put in with sense to get the bears come into the bait site, and then it's what you have at the bait site from that point that keeps them there. So you want to have some super smelly shit to get them there in the first place. It's not necessarily what they're eating, but they have those what is it, 907 baits, the one up in Alaska?
So. Yep.
They have some stinky shit that you can pull up into the tree that's high enough to where the bears can't get. Well, there was remember the bears on your bait?
Yeah, you got put all that the way the fucking sucker up there.
What was it, 30, 40 feet in the fucking air? Yep. That bitch got up there and got it down.
Dude, he was like swinging on that fucking thing, trying to break it off there. It looked like a big bale of molasses and like fucking oats or something, wasn't it?
Yep. And then they put some super stinky stuff on it, so it's supposed to spread, around and but basically take a rock with some paracord, throw it up over the highest branch you can, and then tie your deal to it, and then pull it up and tie it off.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So you want to use some pungent, like spend some money on some pungent shit to get them there, and then that's where you have your barrels of trail mix or cookies or whatever else that you want to keep them there with, and that's what you have to keep up on. Once they start hitting, then you want to be on the regular, like every day. You want to refill it every day, while you're trying to get the bears in there.
If it goes empty for a day, they'll leave. We'll be on to the next.
Yeah.
And it's the more kind of feeling, the better.
Yeah.
Because you want to be fat and sassy and go back in the woods and lay there going, kind of like when you eat 11 donuts at one time.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Just laying there with a fucking sugar coma.
Yeah.
And then they come back out to that and it's bam, it's full again. It's like,
and then they get kind of protective over it too.
Yep.
Right. So then if you get a bigger bear, like the bigger bear will come in and kick the smaller one out. And maybe you get, bigger. And then, when the sows start going into heat, isn't that
end of May,
early June?
Yeah. And then you'll have boars coming through, but I will preface it with this. Those big boars don't stay on those baits. They come, they sniff to see if this fresh, a sow and heat's been there.
Yeah.
So if you see a big boar, know your bears, you better fucking shoot it. Cause we had that red bear that I ended up killing. It was on Shane and Eric's bait 5 miles from my bait. And it was on theirs one night. It was on mine the next.
Yeah.
It had a very tear in its ear, so it's very in an interesting color. So it's easy to tell.
Yeah,
5 miles in 24 hours, which is nothing to a bear.
Yeah.
So they just walk up, sniff it, and they'll be out of there. So you got to be ready to shoot.
In other words, they're more worried about coochie than eating.
Yeah. So
the big boys.
The breeding's end of May, all the way through the first couple weeks of June.
Yeah.
So even into late June, that bear that was eating your popsicle in that tree would come down out of the tree. He'd bang the sow, and then he'd go back up the tree.
That's funny. You got to have your priorities set.
Yeah. He was banging and eating. He just kept going back and forth.
That's all we need.
Yeah. That's all guys need. Yeah. I like baiting bears because it's kind of like I can't say it's like it's not a game of chess. It's more of a game of checkers.
Yeah.
But having multiple bait site, obviously up your odds, and have them in a good spot that the wind gets everywhere is also.
Yeah.
And then prepared trail cameras are a big help.
Oh, yeah. And having the time to be out there every day.
That's the biggest thing. Once it hits, you got to keep it baited. But fuck, you can get a lot. Like some years you'd have 9. We've had 9 bears on one bait, 9 different bears. which
It
is
seems like your spot's been a little dead last couple years, but it was pretty lively the first couple years that I was down there with you guys.
Well, some assholes, Shane and Eric, they put a bait directly above mine. Not directly, but relative.
Pretty close.
Yeah, which I think fucked it up. And I also think the burns kind of fucked up that side for a while.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes this year.
Yeah.
If it's still that way, we might think about not baiting that side anymore.
Might be super popular this year.
Could
Never
be.
know.
Well, the year before last is where I saw them with the popsicle and getting banged. So
that was late too, right? That was after everybody was gone and everything.
Like the last week of June.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of bears that day. We also went down to where Pop killed those bears on that bait, and there was bears in that bait. Nothing worth shooting.
Yeah,
a lot of bears.
Huh.
Yeah.
Speaking of shooting, identifying size on black bears is pretty tough.
Yeah. So you took the test. I took the test.
Yes.
Be honest. What'd you get on?
Yeah. So I took it. I shouldn't say this on. Let's just say that I took it for more than myself.
No, you didn't.
Let's just say I wanted to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I practiced 3 times. First score was 83. Second score was 100. Third score was like a 93.
Gotcha.
So I think I might have missed 2 and then 0 and then 1. So whatever those percentages worked out to. Because it was 15 questions, huh? Yeah. So I missed 2. Yeah. 2 and then 0 and then 1.
They word it very weird.
They do. So if you're taking it, just make sure you read the last part of the question where it says, it'll say, is this a grizzly bear or is this a black bear? And they keep switching the fucking wording around.
And you know how this all happened, right? From last year?
I don't.
Down in Unit 6 by St. Mary's, a guy was on a bait. A bear came in. He thought it was a grizzly. He sent it to the Fish and Game. The Fish and Game said it was not a grizzly. He shot and killed the bear, and it was a grizzly.
Oh.
So everybody needs to do this, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they do give you some reading first. I intentionally didn't do the reading because I wanted to challenge myself to see how well I could tell just by the bears that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the younger grizzly boars are hard to tell.
They are.
Before their hump gets big and their head doesn't really have that grizzly shape yet.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's a grizzly bear, when it's a adult grizzly bear, you can tell.
Even when it's I would say until a year old, like that age, you can tell grizzly.
Yeah.
Like the young grizzlies, it's that like what do they call it, adolescent, like between 1 and 2, 1 and 3.
Yeah.
They're weird, gawky looking things.
Yeah.
And it is hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean the test was good. It was a good challenge. It's probably good for people to take.
It also tells us the grizzly bears are expanding in North Idaho, which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And we need to have a season on them because they don't respect us and they're going to start killing more people.
Well, that's an interesting situation that caused that. So if you don't know, you do have to take a bear identification test for Idaho starting this year. It's a different site, and then it says that you need to print that and keep it with you, or you can add it to your, what's that app you have that'll show your license and shit? I think you can add it to that.
It's just an online fishing game app, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can add your deal there, but I'm sure if you have a screenshot of it on your phone, that's more than good enough.
One more rule, because we don't want to take care of problems. But it should be fun. We also have, obviously, in June, the shooting schools we talked about. So that's more on the formalicious side.
Lots of shit going on.
We have the NRL, or the Night Force ELR in June.
We have the bear hunt shooting school.
Oh, yeah. Coming up in a month.
Mm-hmm. I just talked to him, by the way. We got to have a conversation.
Okay.
He did ask if one of us was going to be there.
Okay.
I said, I'm sure Ryan will be there.
I'm not going to be there.
Ryan may make an appearance.
I may make a beauty. What do they call that? A
just an appearance, a red carpet appearance.
Kissing babies. Shaking hands.
You're here for some pictures and you're gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just drove by there coming back from Texas. That's a long ways over there.
Hey, when you said earlier that the Nilgai hunting was at the bottom of Texas, when you're coming in, do you come in at the top of Texas?
The side, like you drive out to New
Mexico. And then how long? I mean, Texas is the biggest fucking state, man.
Dude.
It feels like you're crossing the entire country just trying to get across it.
LL Hunts is by Raymondville for people that want to know. So it's like, I don't know, 20 miles from the border.
Yeah.
10. I don't even know the actual mileage. When you drive up, we drove, it felt like all fucking day, and we stayed in Lubbock. And then you get up and you drive for like another fucking 50 hours, it feels like. And we came through the corner of New Mexico and then up through Denver.
Okay.
Fuck, it took 2.5 days and it's just driving.
Yeah, I don't know that that's worth it.
Oh, we got a lot of meat. And we may or may not broke the back of the fucking rental car. We had like 400 pounds of Nilgai in a fucking Yeti 210 cooler.
So did you buy the cooler down there?
No,
you all flew in?
No. So I went with Brian Broderick from Day 6 and Brad Brooks from Argali. Great humans. And Brian's wisdom, he went by Yeti and got two 210 coolers and brought them down. So we rode back to, they live in Casper where Day 6 is. So we rode back with them to Casper, rented a Toyota RAV4 and drove from Casper to Coeur d'Alene.
And this is the one that suffered some trunk damage.
Let me tell you, a 210 quart cooler and 3 Nilgai has got some fucking weight with some ice in it. And you want to make sure that you get it evenly spaced and it's not kind of where, that flap comes up for the spare.
Yeah.
Or there's
a lot of pressure on one of those quarters.
You maybe driving and all of a sudden you hear snap and you look back and the cooler's cattywampus. I don't know how that happens.
How did you get it in there?
Oh, fuck, dude. We had to take all the meat out of one cooler, not all of it, but most of it, put it on top of the other cooler, back his truck up, slide that motherfucker in, and then refill it.
Good Lord.
Yeah. It's and it was a feat getting that 210 in that fucking, think about that. And the back of Maddie's size sport utility.
Yeah.
And then, dude, you just driving, we hit a bump. I don't know about the Wyoming roads, dude. They just fucking suck.
I bet the whole back dude was doing like.
Dude, it was. We hit a bridge. We came off the other side and it goes bang. And I look back, that cooler's like riding dirty.
Oh, shit.
But dude, I'll bring some in. That Nilgai meat is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, so you're saying. So when you took it, did you tell them fucking half grind, half sausage, or what'd you tell them?
No, hell no. I wanted probably 70% hamburger and then roast and steak.
Okay.
A lot of it.
Should have made some Nilgai sticks.
Oh, I could just
from
bring
the stick professional.
I can just bring the burger and he could do it. I think we should try it.
Yeah.
And then do a double blind taste test.
Yeah.
Because did you try any of that cougar yesterday?
No. Made me nervous.
So Form went up with, what's the outfitter's name?
Brandon Gardam. I don't know the name of his business.
Selkirk
Outfitters.
Yeah, he went up and shot a big cat and he made, Form never picked shit up. So I go to drop the fucking Nilgai off and he has meat at my buddy that cuts the meat up. So I was like, well, fuck. So I picked his up and he had a bunch of summer sausage cat. And we tried it.
Did you try it?
Dude, I like pussy.
I made a comment. So Taylor was going out there and Taylor was looking at it. Taylor, I'm like, Taylor, you know what that is, right? He says, yeah. I says, well, just imagine this for a moment. How many times have you seen Ryan Avery bring meat in and give it away?
Hi, I'm Brent Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
Fair point.
How many fucking times have you seen that happen? And then all of a sudden there's this bunch of mountain lions sitting there. I said, I'd be careful.
Fair point. Well, to be frank, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not elk meat.
You know you're eating something weird.
And I try to be objective on that, but I took a fair amount yesterday and it's just different tasting.
Yeah.
And I could eat horse, I could eat whatever. I'm not really particular on it. And it's different. It's not great.
I didn't need to eat it and I knew.
And he got some I have some kitty backstrap. So.
Oh no.
It looks weird too.
Yeah.
Looks like fish almost when you're looking at it. Looks like a fish fillet. So people say they like it, but it's okay. I mean, if I had to eat it, I would. You definitely got to make it in sausage for me to like it. Because I've had some cat backstraps. You know what? One thing I did eat that was good from a cat that I shot? I made brats. But think about this. It's probably 60% fucking pork in that brat.
Yeah.
And
a heavy seasoning.
Yeah, heavy seasoning.
Yeah.
Jalapenos, cheese. Yeah.
Huh.
Sometimes pussy stank, dude.
Good Lord. Yeah, it'd make me nervous.
Did we miss anything on this impromptu podcast?
No, I think we need to start some type of couple little series going on.
Yes.
Get back up on the speak pipes. Leave us some speak pipes about some podcast topics. And I don't know why lately it seems like, so within business, different things going on, different times, people going hunting or people going here. Like I got to go, I'm going out to a training here tomorrow. And it just seems like we haven't been on track lately. It's been a little scattered. And now we got fucking Mason's playing goddamn rugby. And North Idaho rugby team is taking us all over the planet because there's not a lot of rugby teams. So this is like a whole weekend event, weekend after weekend.
Usually we've been 3 to 4 episodes ahead.
Yeah.
And now we have none.
Yeah.
So it's Tuesday the 25th. And this is the episode for Tuesday the 25th.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to get back on it, though.
No, I think we'll get ahead. And I actually thought about 3 people that we can have on as guests and start cranking them out.
Perfect. Yeah, if we do some guest stuff and get a couple... How about you pick a series and I'll pick a series?
Yeah, and as the listener, you guys had some, and maybe we're missing them, but the speak pipe, you can go on Shoot to Hunt's website, you go to the contact page, you can leave a voice recording on the speak pipe. If you have a topic you want us to cover, even if it's a shit-talking subject, we do have to do another 7 Backcountry podcast, but leave us a message at podcast@shoottohunt.com. And we will try to get on there and address it. But
and even if it's something that we don't know, we'll find an expert of some type to bring on and talk. I like talking about shit I don't know about, and I like learning. Yeah,
like one of the best podcasts I keep getting feedback on is when we did it with Zach Bowman on hunting the thoroughfare.
Yeah.
People thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know how the Infinite Outdoors went because I was gone, but haven't seen a lot of feedback on it. But that was more of an information podcast.
Yeah.
So and we'll definitely have.
They sent us some codes to use.
They did?
Yeah.
You tried out?
I didn't set it up yet, but they got us some codes.
Well, now that it's legal to corner cross, we should start making carbon ladders.
No shit.
Cross corner. Dudes, people are going to get beat up and shot.
If you know exactly where the corner is, you don't need a ladder to get over it.
Well, you know what's going to happen is those motherfucking landowners are going to start building that shit up on those corners.
Yeah. Unless they specified that it was the airspace.
I don't
Technically,
know
you could just jump, right?
Well,
you're in the air.
I don't jump very high, so
I'd
have to get a run at it. Dude, people are going to get killed or shot or beat up. There's going to be some altercations.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
They need to have more like definitive guidelines on what's legal and what's not, or it's going to be the wild, wild west in Wyoming.
Well, now that there's an actual court settlement decision, maybe states will start to use that somehow, some way in the legal verbiage.
Yeah, I'd like to get that guy from Wyoming on, the lawyer guy. I think he would be interesting podcast on what he thinks, because he thinks this is going to cause so many other problems that's not good for hunting. So
that is tough. I mean, the whole idea of trespassing. Well, I have a trespassing situation. So the very first time we ever went elk hunting, we were driving out of camp and we see this whole herd of elk up on the side of this hillside. And it was between like 2 kind of houses with 5 acres or so. Then the mountain kind of came out and there was a wooden fence here along this mountain. And there was posted signs, but when you looked on Onyx, that whole area, like there was like a 20-foot section of fence that was not owned by anybody. It literally said it was public. So in other words, you could go through this 20-foot area that had this wood fence, and it was like one of those little 2-tier wood fences, right? It was very clearly not private land, and where the elk were was not private land. So it's me and Mason. It was our first, I guess it technically was a second hunting trip. So we got the rifle in the car. We were actually headed into town. So we get out, we get the rifle set up. It's this fucking like 30-degree incline. I'm lining up and it was just a spike, right? But it was like, we were so excited we see an elk and we could actually shoot one. And I get out there and I'm just about to pull the trigger. And this old man pulls up behind us and just starts ripping me a new one about how I was on private property and that's illegal. And he's calling the cops. And I mean, he is just going fucking off this whole time. So I don't know whether the elk ran off at that point or what the situation was, but it was like something I didn't want to deal with. And I was very, very, very new to hunting and I didn't have like 100% faith in what I was reading on Onyx. So we actually left right there. We went straight to fishing game and salmon. And I went inside and I talked to a fishing game guy and I told him the whole story and I showed him Onyx. I showed him exactly where I was. He said, yeah, you were good.
Yes.
And just looking at Onyx, he would have said I was good on the spot. Like, so if he was involved in an altercation, he would have said, you're legal, go ahead and shoot.
Yeah. And it's funny because from what I've read, that sometimes Onyx holds up in court and sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's up to the hunter to know where he's at and know where he's shooting. But it sounded like you were good to go.
Yeah, I mean, with that fucking fence there, if the wood fence hadn't have been there, I think I would have just shot.
And people are fucking fast and loose with their property lines too.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that happen in Unit 5 down on the Indian Reservation. They block a road that's public access, or the reservation's really slow on property name changes, or purchase changes. So you really got to watch out, because there's a place I hunted forever that was bought. The tribe sold it, and this guy had posted. And I'm like, well, fuck, this still says reservation.
Yeah. And
I walk in there, and the motherfucking same thing. Guy comes out uncorked on me, and I thought he was lying, and he obviously knew that I was trespassing because he had bought the land. Yeah. But it's not always right, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And some places are really slow on name changes and property changes.
I think intentions say a lot, and don't get caught up in something that you don't need to.
The more I hunt, it's like the more I just want to be surrounded by national forests or in a wilderness area, so I don't got to deal with fucking crackheads coming out and say, because there are legitimate people that that is private property, but there's also assholes that try to block you from using public land. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's the middle ground is very fucking gray, and that sucks when you're on those property lines.
you run across some horseback guys in a spot that you've been hunting for a while, and they try to say that they've been hunting it for longer, and that's their fucking spot, and they want to shoot you and all kinds of shit.
Yep. So you're gonna kill your dog.
Yeah.
Fucking shoot fucking 10 rounds into the dirt. Yeah. People fucking lose their mind hunting. And I don't know. Human nature. Everything's going crazy.
I was just talking to one of the guys in the shop about rugby. So rugby's been like this complete, 180 from the idea of youth football and high school football. So you go out there and I don't know all the details yet. One of the dads told me he's been watching his kid for 4 years and he still doesn't get the game. Like there's so many nuances and choices that they can make on the field for penalties and things like that. There's a lot of shit to learn, and it's so different than football.
Dude. Anytime you can give a big boy the ball and he can run, I'm for it.
Yeah. I showed you the pit. Well, I sent you the picture. Yeah. So what's badass though is that there's no yelling. There's no fighting amongst parents. It's a very quiet, it's almost uncelebratory. Like even when they score, they call it a try, not a touchdown. Even when they score a try, there's very little celebration. Nobody can talk to the ref on the field. He's called the sir. There is a team captain on each team. They are the only ones that are allowed to talk to the sir. No other no other teammate, no coach, nobody.
What happens if they do?
It's a fucking penalty.
What's a penalty? What is that?
That's the hardest part to understand about the game. So they have several different ways. So if the ball is out of bounds, they do this thing where they pick each other up by the shorts. Like no joke. So like two dudes pick one dude up in the air while a dude throws it in from the sideline. And they raise each other right next to each other, and wherever that ball goes, they try to bat it to their people or catch it or whatever. That's one result of a...
Does Mason ever get picked up?
He's a picker-upper. Ain't nobody picking his ass. He ain't a fucking ballerina.
So the light guys get picked up.
He's the heaviest kid. He's literally one of the ones picking the dude
him up.
Yes. And they get him, dude, like foot on top of head height. Like they get after it, like all the way up in there.
That guy hucks it in.
Yes. So that's one thing. And then they do the thing where they all line up head to shoulder, like in this big web. Mm. So first they give their positions, they get all set, and then the ref is like, set, and they come up, and then they start pushing on each other. And then the guy from the team who has the ball, they shove it in from the side into their feet, and they have to use their feet to kick the ball out the back while pushing the other team the other way.
That's the scrum?
Yes. So then there's a scrum shit. Then there's one where they just give the other team the ball and they have to kick it, but they don't have to kick it. They just have to touch their foot to the ball. So they'll fucking just like literally touch their foot to the ball and take off running.
No shit.
It's the weirdest shit. Yeah. So that anybody can score. Anybody can run the ball. There's 15 on 15. And yeah, I think the hardest part to understand, you kind of get the flow of the game. Oh, and then when you do a try or a touchdown, the ball has to touch the ground. You can't just cross the line. Like you literally have to dive to the ground.
Oof.
But it's so respectful. So at the end of the game, like all the kids get in a big circle and they give each other awards and shit, like player of the game. And like it's a very touchy-feely sport. Like it's a very manly, it is touchy-feely, though. Like, I mean, they're all fucking on each other's shit the whole game.
Yeah, they're like basically touching each other's butts and nuts, and like they have to stick their hand up to get the ball.
But in the manliest way possible. I know it's hard to explain like that, but it's just like it's like camaraderie.
It's rough, too.
Dude, these boys are literally doing full football tackles without anything on.
And it's like almost like cardio soccer. It's like
it is. It's soccer cross with football.
Yeah.
American soccer.
Yeah.
Cross with American football.
Yeah.
And it's but like I said, it's a different, the parents, everything about everything that goes around the sport is just, it's incredibly respectful. And like, because we drove all the way down there to Idaho Falls, they fed the kids, after the game and things like that. So it's pretty badass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good for your footwork for football.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. So I started looking into it. There's actually Major League Rugby. It's a league that started in the U.S. in like 2018. Seattle has a team. There's some teams in Texas, California, things like that.
Where did it start?
I don't know where it started, but it did. I just remember looking on Wikipedia. It said 2018.
Like the sport, is it Australian?
Oh, rugby. No, it's British.
British, is it?
I think British. And I think that's where the respect thing and all that comes from.
Gotcha.
Of course, I'm literally 95% sure that's probably wrong, but somewhere in the UK.
5%.
Let's just say the
right.
UK.
There's a 5% chance you're right.
I could be right. But just, dude, super respectful. And like I said, there's no drama. Like, there's no yelling.
Huh.
And so it's pretty badass.
15 dudes on each side's a lot of bodies.
So when they start throwing the ball back to each other, and the whole goal is like, if the tackle happens over here, and that's the weirdest thing. So if you get tackled and you're on the ground, another player, you literally push the ball behind you on the ground, and the other team can't touch you at this point. One of your players comes and stands on top of you with like feet on the ground and his head and his body on top of you. And then another one comes behind that guy and another one comes behind that guy, and they can keep moving the ball back between their legs. And then all of a sudden another player can grab it and start running.
How far, how do you get the ball back to the other team?
Like, it can happen, like, literally, like, you go to toss it back and the other guy fucking grabs it. Like, the turnovers happen fast.
It's live. The ball's always live?
The whole time. Until he blows a whistle because somebody fucked up and they either do the scrum or the throw in or the kickoff.
Is there an offsides?
Yes. So as soon as the guy tackled and is on the ground, it's the defender's job's team to get on the other. That's now the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And they have to get on the other side of the ball, or they get a penalty on them.
Okay.
But then there's so many little weird things that happen in between all that. Like, I didn't know none of that. Then a bunch of weird shit happens in between all that, and the actual captain, if there's a penalty, like, he can make a decision whether I want to do this or this, like a scrum or this. So you don't exactly know what the penalty was based on like the actual penalty,
right?
Like what the result was. It's just fucking hard to follow.
Interesting. I got to go watch one.
Then they score. So it's 5 points for a try, and then they get to kick it in for one. And when they kick the ball in, like, the whole team is back behind the goalpost. The kicker puts the fucking ball on the little tee sideways, like the long ball is sideways on this fucking, and then he kicks it on the tip. It's like the stupidest kick I ever seen in my life. And they kick it through the fucking goals all the time.
No shit.
It's a weird kind of funny ball, but they literally kick the ball on the tip.
Seems like we need to get a rugby expert up in here.
That would be pretty badass, actually.
Because it's getting bigger. Like, after you said that, I was kind of dicking around the internet, and rugby's growing.
It is. So what the coaches are telling these players, and one of the big reasons they want to start the league up here is there are a lot more scholarship opportunities now for rugby than there are for other sports, just because it's so new and it's such a unique sport that's not played so much here that there's, opportunity to get.
So there's college players. There's college teams.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
In fact, the University of Idaho has rugby teams.
No shit.
Yeah.
And there's women's rugby?
Yes. Now,
I bet you that's nasty.
Dude, there's some, watch the videos, man.
They're brutal.
Watch the actual, like, women, like, over, like, UK, like the real women's teams, dude. There are some,
dude, the women are straight bitches in soccer. I can't imagine in rugby.
These are the big girls. These are brutal.
They're thick. Because it's the Olympics, right? The rugby is in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, something new.
Fucking way off topic.
Well, yeah, they got us traveling fucking, dude, all the way down to southern Idaho, all the way to the other side of Washington, fucking Billings. Like, there's tournaments and games all over the place. So it's a lot of work.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Anything else on topic?
No, sign up for some classes and shoot us some ideas for some series.
Mm-hmm. The rock stock's clicking along good.
Oh, rock stocks are trucking along. We're getting a lot of stocks. In fact, they're either here or shipped from Stocky's, almost that whole order of 100 that we did. All the black carbon camos, I believe, are taken care of. Yeah, moving right along.
Yep, you can order the light. I just got an email this morning. You can order the wooden rock stock light.
Yep.
Right now.
It's on the site.
On No Munitions. And we got to pry the light we need to get molded or scanned from form. We're going to get that this week or two and send it down to Stocky's to get the mold started for the light version.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little bit of testing. Hopefully we'll have some made before we start selling.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's starting now. It's still several months out, but if you wanted to put a build in with one, we could probably take a build, but that's just because that time is kind of built in there. But yeah, you're several months out from seeing a Rockstock light carbon in person.
Talking to Mike Maxwell, he's very excited about how many actual wooden stocks are getting ordered.
Yeah, we're keeping him busy.
He said he would never have guessed that he would start doing this with this stuff.
Well, it's a fancy piece, it's quite expensive, but it's a handmade wood stock. I don't know, labor is very expensive in the U.S., so especially from a skilled craftsman.
Mm-hmm. And he is a skilled craftsman.
Yeah.
He said that we're keeping him busy, faster than he thought he would be busy.
He's so busy now, we had to move to like a production schedule with him, like regular rock stock.
He's like, no, I got to hire a minion now, he said, to help keep up. So
yeah,
good problems to have.
Yeah.
So anything else?
All good.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.